So this says I'm live, and that says I'm live, and this says I'm live, but that doesn't say I'm live. So let's try this from scratch. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Someday, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wooden eye. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. What are the humans doing?
Big moves, I'm that dude. Bet I see you from the top, yeah, real soon. Looking down on the haters that I've been through. Told them I'll see you later, yeah, big truth. I keep a real good pace. Built a big house, damn, look at that place. Up in my mind, cause that's my space. House so big, full of positive things. And I can't be shook, cause I ain't no rook, man, I wrote the book. Now I teach how to cook them beats like, look, making these look good. I just want trophies, plaques with a whole gold if you know me. Got a gold record on the wall, look closely. Got that record all alone, like lonely. I'm just sick of waiting cause I feel it's frustrating when I always put the hours in. But ain't nobody wanna recognize independence, it's threatened third continent. So I chase that bag, trophies are dope but I'd rather have cash. Sitting in the bank cause I paid my tax. Living my life, my way, my path, I go. Move fast, anyone who ain't hit full gas. Who that, choose that, hard work, that wins, true facts. I'ma go big, grind hard, throw a few jabs. Big hook next to the dome, knock her straight back down to the floor. Anyone in my way smacked, I don't take bad thoughts, no, I remove that. My team got good minds, I can prove that.
Chasing, I got these dreams that I've been chasing. I've got some things I've been upgrading. No one can stop me from this craving. Chasing, I've got these dreams that I've been chasing. I've got some things I've been upgrading. No one can stop me from this craving. You'll see me at the top one day.
Yo, when it ain't toxic, shut your mouth and pick a different topic. Taking off like a rocket, got that energy, you can call me socket. Doing that boss fish, all I do is focus on increasing that profit. Yeah, I'm on like a faucet, ready to make another deposit. Never been complacent since I was 8, I steady stay chasing. Always winning adjacent, side by side, grind hard in the basement. Ain't no replacement, only one me, yes, to the free agent. Cause I go with this payments, otherwise I don't really have any patience. Making that honey, I wanna be something that's more than just money. I wanna teach others and see them becoming a version they never thought. Now they be hunting their goals and their dreams, yeah, all in their reach. They listen to me, the things that I preach, and change their whole lives to something belief. And now their own mind is all that they need. I'm loving the journey, got rid of the doubt and the worry. I'm moving no mercy, whatever I get I'm deserving. I put in the work in, I feel like I'm never done working. I always stay thirsty, cause it keeps me alive when I'm learning.
Chasing, I got these dreams that I've been chasing. I've got some things I've been upgrading. No one can stop me from this craving. Chasing, I've got these dreams that I've been chasing. I've got some things I've been upgrading.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What is up? There's things happening in the world today, and part of us aren't even prepared for it. But I'm here to tell you tonight that if you are within the sound of my voice, you are a survivor. You've made it this far, and I commend you. Why you're here, I have no idea, but we're going to look at some stuff and giggle at it. I'm going to drop the link in chat. My usual rules apply. Previous guest preferred. Denizen, you can sneak in under the radar. I know you haven't actually done a show, but, taking advantage of a young Sasquatch. I was young and I needed the money. I'm good? Yeah, I'm good. I'm real good. All right, so let me do this first. We got to do the things because it doesn't make any sense if I don't do the things that I say I'm going to do. Skadoosh. All right. So Saturday, there will not be a show. I will be playing 2 parts on Scully's House of Thrillers. Link's pinned at the moment. I'm going to leave it there for a minute, actually, and begin this whole process over here of starting up what we do. Because I have, of course, got the dulcet tones of Captain Curmudgeon and his flawless soliloquies that he does. What do you call them? Intro monologues. They're freaking excellent. It's the kind of thing I can't really do. Give me 1 second there, bud. I'll be right with you. Replace the pinned one. Right. That's functional. That needs to go away. We need this to happen.
I, for one, have had just about enough of these wacky right-wing conspiracy theories. There's a whole host of perfectly innocent, totally non-corrupt explanations for why Admiral Hunter Biden, America's greatest naval hero and noted stripper impregnating crackhead, would be paying his dad, Joe Biden, $49,000 a month to live in a house of which he, Admiral Hunter Biden, is the legal owner of record. And I'm sure that arrangement has nothing to do with the fact this house seems to have top secret documents hiding under every freaking couch cushion. And Hunter would know a lot about that, since he quite regularly checks under the couch cushions, looking for any tiny nuggets of crack that might have slipped through, because, hey, some days the carpet doesn't pan out, so you do what you gotta do. And I'm also certain there is an innocent and non-corrupt explanation for why a former vice president would be dropping classified documents in pretty much every single place he goes. You see, as much as our friends in the fake performance art news media don't want to talk about this one little stickler of a detail, vice presidents are not presidents. Vice presidents have no vested authority whatsoever to classify or to declassify anything, or to possess or transmit classified materials, except as explicitly authorized by the president. So I look forward to Joe's lawyers producing a sworn affidavit from Barack Obama that says, oh, yep, I instructed Joe to take a bunch of top secret documents, and I said, Joe, I'd like you to really scatter these documents around just as haphazardly as you can. Maybe dump some of them at your fake think tank and some others at your main residence. And you know what else would be fun, Joe? If you took some of the documents to that house where your stripper impregnating crackhead son lives and just, I don't know, left him in the garage by your Corvette. You think you can handle all that, Joe? Well, of course you can. You're a great wingman, Joe. I know you won't let me down. Now, I don't want to piss in anybody's cornflakes here, but oh, who am I kidding? Yes, I do. But let's call things what they are. If no such document exists or can't be forged on short notice, then Joe Biden is guilty of criminal malfeasance. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, certainly, there's a separate argument to be had about whether this is a crime that rises to the level of being prosecutable or impeachable, as the case may be. But as a factual matter, you cannot say Biden didn't break the law, because it seems clear that he totally very much did. And good luck trying to explain the thing away by making false equivalencies and apples to anal beads comparisons with the case of Donald Trump. Again, presidents can declassify any document they want in any manner they like. You can declare it declassified, you can announce what's in it, or you can declassify it simply by showing it to somebody who doesn't have a clearance to view it. Vice presidents? Again, not so much. The vice president knows exactly what the president decides he should know. No more and no less. For Christ's sake, Harry Truman had no idea the atom bomb existed until he became the man who had to decide whether to drop it on Japan. So you really think...
Let me interject right here. Can you imagine getting that phone call? By the way, Mr. President, we were just about to end World War II by pushing this button over here, and homie didn't make it. So, like, what we need you to do is go over there and push the button for us. And he's like, what's it do? Well, it'll kill about 17 million people per city. You got to push it twice.
Beep. I thought it was the alarm clock.
Right? Then we're 5 minutes to midnight. It's all over but the crying. What's up, Jake? What you got going on today?
What's up, my brother from another mother? Good to see you. I believe I said all of this stuff in my previous podcast, and nobody even clapped.
How would you know if they did?
I wouldn't.
Right. So how do you know they didn't?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Busted. You got me.
Okay.
Hello, chat. Good to see everybody. Hey, Jock. Northern Sounds, ATL, Ghost Eagle, Russell Berry, Sperry.
We got other people. Back. All right, so Mr. Self-Destruction gets the gold. Good to see you, bud. ATL Transparency gets the silver. It's good to see you. Northern Sounds gets the bronze. Welcome to the show, folks. You actually made it in here right after Dennis and X. Bah.
I was the
Eyeball.
first one here.
We got Ghost Eagle. We got Harry Nuts. You know how much I love Harry Nuts, right?
You love hairy nuts.
I love.
You like it tickling your lips and everything.
Probably, if he wanted to tickle my lips, I probably wouldn't fight it too much. Although I'd wonder exactly what he had going through his head at that moment. I'd be confused, slightly aroused. Russell Sperry, good to see you, bud. Good to see you. Ajot's in here. Yeah.
Hello.
Excellent. Strictly Strange has joined chat. That is awesome.
Strictly Strange.
Have you been checking out his any of his shorts?
Whose shorts? My shorts?
Strictly
Your
Strange.
shorts?
No, Strictly Strange has been
I have
doing
not,
shorts.
but I bet they look fabulous on him.
Well, they're very, very odd. They're strange. They're very strange.
Tight shorts.
No, strange.
Strange shorts.
They're odd short
Like
videos.
tighty whities?
Like unusual ones.
Boxer briefs. No, those ones with the sheath in them where you put your balls in one side and your thing in the other side and then your drawers on. Weird.
That is a very strange concept. Apparently ATL thinks Crosby is dead. Hippie Rosby. Dude, are you still using speech to text? Quit that.
Stop it.
You have a horrible accent and it doesn't understand. It doesn't
Take it from April. I'm what?
Oh, all right. So I'm not
Blimey.
all of that. Let's see. Are you familiar? Yes, no, actually, this is perfect. This is perfect. Did you see the description to the video to what we're doing today?
No.
No.
What do we got going on?
Well, I'm going to subject you. Get over here. I'm going to subject you to a revamping of something we've already discussed.
Morphin Clark does.
Oh, come on.
Pay close attention to the spellbinding.
Hold on. All right. So you remember the discussion we had about the activity that took place in the Ring of Power and how Galadriel was an absolute sociopath?
Mm-hmm.
This guy disagrees. He thinks she's an
woman
actual right. I think he thinks she's an actual full-on psychopath.
Really? Well, I don't disagree with that.
Well, I mean, looking at how she responds to emotional things.
You ever looked at a shark? Those cold, dead eyes and those pearly white teeth and the straightforward gaze and no emotion whatsoever? She looks like a shark.
You're not wrong, man. Cold, emotionless stare, vacuous state of mind.
She looks like a shark swimming in shallow water.
It's like a blank.
Yeah, like she's in her mind. You can see her wheels turning. That she knows she's supposed to respond, but this is what you get.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They go as far as handing her a script and letting her memorize the lines. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But it is.
Direction on the lines.
Exactly.
She's just reading lines.
I have this flashback to the Zoidberg episode where the uncle is the famous director and he's screaming at everybody to emote harder.
Emote harder.
Emote. Oh, man. Okay, so let's see what this cat has to say about it.
Wait. Who is this cat?
This cat. Oh, yeah. All right. So the first one that's coming up is Despot of Antrim does Galadriel, the psychotic genocidal demon beast.
Yes.
I'm sure you can figure out why that one caught my attention because I think I used those exact words to describe her. Something very similar.
She's in a bag of chips.
I think what I said was she's actually a monster in the darkness. Close enough for government work. What we got? Vintage jewels, gems, and pearls. Hey, bud. How you doing?
That's a lot of rocks.
Well, if you haven't seen The Rings of Power, this might come as a shock to you, but not everyone loved it. And some people had differing opinions.
And some
these
people
different
freaking hated it.
Yeah, some people really hated it. These differing opinions are fighting online, and I really like to watch how the dust throws up out of it. So I'm going to play this one here, and then later I'm going to play a different one that has a different opinion.
Harry Nut says, make sure you subscribe to each other, folks. Let's grow everybody's channel. Amen, brother.
Yeah, that's the way that works. You'll notice that people in chat, those blue folks that you see that have held their breath so long they've turned into Smurfs, quite often they'll be throwing out random links and whatnot.
I love it.
Generally, it's people they know. Or
That's
you.
fine.
It might be your link. It might
Put
be their
my link in there. That's fine. I'll take it.
It might be somebody's link. I mean,
I can't do it because I don't have a means of chatting for some
Right.
reason.
Yeah, no, that's StreamYard for you, man. I can't, there's not much I can do about that. What I usually do is I'll open YouTube, do the
Yeah.
pop out chat, and then close YouTube so that it doesn't lag on the
I
machine.
gotcha.
And I've got the pop out chat over there and I can just see it. And when I'm doing a stream, I do the same thing so that I can link it with what's on the screen over here.
Why
Chat.
is that, though? I can private chat you, but I can't comment.
Because StreamYard sucks. Big fat donkey dick.
Oh,
Sounds terrible. It mixes terribly. It handles guests as if they are freaking blind
smells
moles.
like feet.
It sticks everyone into an individual green room instead of you having a group green room so that we could discuss things before whoever's running the show shows up.
Yeah.
Nothing can be done live, but we could have a conversation and get our shit together before we went on live, right? No. Several other stream services offer this type of stuff, and some of them offer it on their free plan. They have other issues. So like Movix or Muzu or Muux or whatever it is. I can't remember what it's called. Umux. Anyway, it's a streaming thing. And it's great. It sounds awesome. It looks great. The widgets and gadgets and bells and whistle, they're all there. But the problem is, if I send Jake an invite, it might take him 30 minutes to figure out how to get into that son of a bitch. And it might take me 10 minutes to put him on screen because it's complicated. So
Yep. That's somebody that's a little too proud of their coding skills.
Right.
Made it overly complicated. I did that once with a chat room. I had a forum set up on my website. It was a new website, and I worked on it for months. And I had this big forum with all these different rooms that you could go into with different topics and emojis and stickers. And I mean, you could do everything. On somebody texted me and said, "Don't you have one where I could just type something and it shows up? Period."
Right.
Yeah, but you can do all this other stuff. I don't want to learn how to do all that. I just want to leave you a message. I scrapped that and got a guest book.
That's right. I went to this one dude's games chat, and I showed up, and I had been there before, but he had gotten a hold to like Streamlabs or I don't know what he got a hold to. There were all kinds of games in it now, right? Yeah. And it would randomly trigger off certain words when you were typing. So if you were like, "Yeah, I went down to the park today," you might end up, fighting a ninja. It's like so and so challenges ninja to like what? Why? Like where'd that come from? It's like, oh yeah, I just scrolled through the dictionary and made different trigger words.
Yeah.
What? Did you use A? I might have used A.
Yeah, my message forum was CGI. Do you know what that is? That's not movie CGI. That's web CGI. It's like a Perl script, and it's in its own little router system. It's on a web server, and it does all these different things. And I mean, it was a really cool setup, but nobody knew how to use it. So just go with the guest. Just
I never learned to code. I never learned to code, but I did learn to copy.
Yep.
But like I can fake it almost long enough to get paid for it.
Almost. Yep.
It breaks down when I have to fix something that I accidentally like typoed somehow, and then I can't fix it because I can't see what's actually wrong with it because I can't read it. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Nice.
Private
I can
jet.
copy paste like nobody's business.
Copy and paste that for me, would you?
What is this? Oh yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Wait. That's
Boom
not,
hour.
not sure that's gonna work. Nope, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to do it a different way. We'll do it this way.
Okay. You can't copy and paste?
It's not a functional link.
What do you mean?
It's not a real link. When it comes through on StreamYards, it's not a real link. But
That's
I can
weird.
get your link, bud. We can do this.
Is it because I didn't put the HTTP in front of it?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's weird. Anyway, thank you.
Oh, yeah, bud. We'll get there.
So, are we going to watch somebody destroy Galadriel?
Oh, well, it's not real hard.
No.
Because, I mean, I took care of that before we went live. Wait, what? No. Hold on. All right, we're back. We're live. We're cool. We got this figured out.
Iggy.
Character psychology of Rings of Power, and you will notice a depth to the series that may not be apparent on first viewing. In particular, the layered characterization of Galadriel. With this most complete of screen villains, the show makes reference to other infamous villains, both real and fictional. The first major hint in the show of Galadriel as an unrelenting antagonist comes during the opening narration. She is seen placing the helmet of a fallen elf warrior on top of a giant pile of helmets. This is a foreshadowing of Galadriel's role as the story's dark figure, a force of murderous destruction that will drive the narrative forward in a fanatical quest for blood. The helmets obviously symbolize the countless victims that will perish in Galadriel's genocide. Her placing the helmet onto the pile herself and gazing on it in a manner reminiscent of a serial killer admiring a trophy is an early indication of psychopath Galadriel, which is a central aspect of Galadriel's character in Rings of Power. The creators of the show could have chosen to show Galadriel mourning the fallen elf warriors in a graveyard, or show her looking out over a battlefield of corpses. Instead, they have chosen a very specific image of Galadriel standing over a pile of helmets, which
While
obviously
wearing a nightgown.
heads. This image
Yeah, she's like out for a midnight stroll past the skull pyramid of
Yeah,
her.
that's not
fallen
armor.
brother,
That's a nightgown.
right? She's just out there wandering around in the fringes between day and dusk.
You're sending them
Playing with
mixed signals.
skulls. Definitely.
And by
I've
the way,
seen-
how did she get those helmets way up there on the top of that?
I don't think she did. I think this is supposed to be the actions of other people, but that's a good question. That's a pretty good arm if you're throwing it up there.
Yes, sir. Those are
How do
heavy
you keep
helmets.
it from falling off? How long did they run around in circles throwing it to the top to get it
Right.
so perfectly piled?
Are they all glued together so they don't roll? Because
Right.
they are all round.
And yet
And
she's
what's
just
in the middle of that pile?
I assume more skulls.
Or maybe it's a big pile of dirt and the skulls are just on the top. So
You
she
talking
looks
the-
way
you-
meaner than she actually is. Maybe it's a
Are we
scam.
talking about sets or are we talking about like the reality of a pyramid of
The
skulls?
set is that's all styrofoam.
Right. Okay, shut up. We're
Okay.
going to listen to this.
conjures association with the pyramids of human heads piled up by the Mongols during their
See,
conquest.
those don't pile up.
Of modern-day serial killers who collected human remains as trophies, perhaps the most famous example being Jeffrey Dahmer, who collected human skulls. The opening narration is not yet finished, and already Galadriel has been symbolically linked to genocide and murder.
But
Another
those
instance
helmets are empty. They're just
supposedly
helmets.
used to depict Galadriel as possessing a serial killer psychology can be seen when she is riding her horse on the beach. The first time we see Galadriel express an emotion that could be described as joy. This is initially confusing since up until
It's
now,
not joy.
Galadriel has been a ruthless psychopath, incapable of even basic emotion. Prior to this, there has been only one instance when Galadriel even smiles.
Look at you now, commander of the Northern Armies, warrior of the wastelands.
The only time she expressed happiness so far is when Elrond refers to her role in the genocide of the orcs. Clearly, she takes pride in her genocidal work. But more importantly, this exchange shows us that the only thing that
Or
Galadriel
she likes
really
it when people stroke her
only thing
ego.
her dark spirit is death.
I can
While in the scene
identify
with
with
Elrond, Galadriel gave only a brief smile. In the beach scene, she seems to be in the throes of ecstasy. The reason for this is revealed in a later episode in which Galadriel rushes into battle on horseback, drawing her sword long before battle is joined in eager
Testing.
anticipation of blood.
What
In the
did-
battle that follows, we see Galadriel butchering her way through an enemy force. She even makes a game of it, severing an orc while hanging upside down. Now we understand the raw, unbridled
good
elation
enough.
Galadriel feels when she rides the horse on the beach. Riding a horse at speed reminds Galadriel of the slaughter she has committed in battle. Here, Galadriel is experiencing what psychological scientists refer to as homicidal ideation, more commonly
Or
known
she's
as
got
murder.
the horn of that saddle stuck in her hoo-hoo.
Flooded with the same emotions she has experienced in the
I guess
past when
that's
killing.
possible.
We see a parallel here with real-life serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. In a recent television series dramatizing Dahmer's murders, one scene shows Dahmer sexually gratifying himself in public in response to sexual
Now
arousal
testing.
brought on by a sudden fantasy of his first victim. Notice that in the Dahmer scene and the Galadriel scene, the same expression, what could quite accurately be described as unguarded joy, is present on the face of the show's
I'm
villain.
telling you, it's the horn on the saddle.
Both
Sexual
shows have been very
gratification.
careful to show only trace elements of any emotion that could even be interpreted as happiness.
Sounds like it
The
would
parallel
bruise
with
something.
Dahmer also suggests that Galadriel's homicidal ideation elicits similar feelings of psychosexual gratification. In this scene, we perceive, at least on a subconscious level, that Galadriel is experiencing strong sexual arousal.
What I'm saying, she's rubbing her little thingy on that little pole.
Expression that communicates mild curiosity
How
at best,
rude.
but usually total indifference. Morfydd Clark does a superb job acting out these subtle but important facial expressions, which, when taken together, communicate the erotophonophilia that is an integral part of
Hold on,
Galadriel's
let me see if I can
psychopathy.
put names
There is
on
one more
things.
possible hint that the creators of the
always
Galadriel
forget
character
about
were
that.
influenced by Jeffrey Dahmer. A scene in which she
Hmm.
confesses the compulsion
Uh-oh.
to engage in merciless
That's not gonna
butchery
work.
to Halbrand, soon to be Sauron the Great.
Why do you keep fighting?
Because I cannot stop.
This may be a reference to Dahmer's own psychopathic behavior being driven by an overwhelming compulsion, but it could also be a more general indication that Galadriel, like many other serial killers, is driven by a compulsive need to commit murder rather than merely a desire to do so, though in Galadriel's case, both compulsion and desire are present. Galadriel's affinity for horses may also be a subtle but important link to an infamous Nazi villain, Aemon Goeth. While at first this interpretation
Why
may
you gotta
seem
bring the Nazis into this?
sense
Oh,
when
because they're a
viewed
hot topic
within
all
the
the time.
context of the very clear
You want to
and
make people
obvious
hate
references
something, just
Rings
make an
of Fire
analogy
makes
that
to the
makes them
film
look
in
like a
which
Nazi,
Goethe
and
is
suddenly they're the
brilliantly
most
depicted
hated
by
thing
Ralph
on the
Fiennes,
internet.
Schindler's List. The
Immediately
creators of the
canceled.
demon Galadriel very clearly want to communicate the parallels between
Hairy
Galadriel's
nuts.
relation against the Uruk people and the Nazi attempt to exterminate
Yes,
the
sir,
Jews.
Harry.
The
You have a
final
good one,
solution.
bud.
The parallel is clearest in one scene in
Hairy nuts.
powerfully mirrors a famous scene from Schindler's List, and
Very
in which
good. Welcome
Galadriel
to the show, bud.
directly takes on the role of Goethe himself.
You know,
This
Judd's
is
a
a scene in which
multi-dimensional
Galadriel
being.
interrogates the freedom
heard.
fighter Adar, who she has run down and captured.
Pretty
following
sure
her
he lives
defeat of
over
his
there.
army. In this scene, Galadriel questions
Around
Adar,
each other.
threatens him,
Somewhere in the
expresses her
vast
belief
beyond.
that he and his race are not people, expresses her desire to utterly exterminate his race, threatens him, flies into a rage, and injures him. This scene is a direct reference to, and in many ways a mirror of the infamous scene in Schindler's List, in which Goethe torments Helen Hirsch, his Jewish housemaid. The Galadriel Adar scene employs many of the same thematic and dramatic beats and contains dialogue written specifically to communicate Galadriel's proto-Nazi ideology and to show the psychological similarities between Goethe and Galadriel. Notice that both scenes take place in a small enclosed room, with the tormentor towering over the victim. Goethe's victim, Helen, is much smaller than him, so his physical and psychological dominance over her could still be communicated with her standing. Adar is taller than Galadriel,
I think
in
you're
the Rings
reaching
of
a little
Fire
bit,
scene,
bud.
he is
I
lying on
think
the
so,
floor
too.
to ensure that Galadriel's utter dominance of the situation and the
I mean,
threat she poses
I was
to
just
Adar is
joking when I
clearly
said if you
communicated,
just make an
as well as
analogy
to
that makes it
maintain
look
the
like a
visual
Nazi, it
parallel
would
with Schindler's
automatically
List
end in
scene.
hatred.
In
but
addition,
it
in
seems
both
Yeah,
pretty
he's trying to put her in a completely different movie.
side of the shot with the victim on the right.
well, he's
facing
just
the
pointing
tormentor.
out the,
Let's have
the
another look
similarities
at the
in
Rings
the
of Fire
scene,
beats,
but I think
this time with the Schindler's
he's seeing
List scene.
more than
It
is
starts
actually
out
there.
peacefully with the
Yeah,
tormentor.
because there's no similarities other than that there's a protagonist facing off against an antagonist. which
And the
happens in
roles are
every
perfectly-
battle.
You are one
The
of
roles
them,
are reversed too.
are you not?
Yep.
The Moriondor.
As the
And
scene
try as
progresses,
they might, they
closer.
cannot make her look intimidating.
I don't care how much armor you put on a 5'3"
Even
woman. It is
Moriondor will
not
take orders
impressive.
from
It's,
the
it's
master.
cute. I listen,
I seek
Jake. Hold up,
yours.
hold up. Let me be
Galadriel
perfectly
expressed
clear. I met
all-
a Marine who was about a half-inch shy of being a Marine, and after she went in and took every beating they could give at her, they let her in, and
Yep.
she became a Marine. She's a Marine, right?
Adorable, isn't she?
Absolutely adorable, but at the same time, she is probably the most dangerous woman that has ever pile drive me. Most dangerous woman to ever put me in a finger lock, figure four. You know,
I will pay your next year's salary if that woman can do the same.
oh shit. No. The personality is not there. That
Mm-mm.
woman's not an automatic winner. This woman was. You could tell by the way she walked, she would not lose under any circumstances, provided. But if she did, she'd respect you for it because
Yep.
you would have had to have tried your absolute hardest to beat her.
Well, I mean,
And
she
like I
was a
said,
Marine.
5'5", 5'6", and beat me like a redheaded stepchild over and over
Yep.
and over and over again.
Well, being a Marine used to mean something. It doesn't so much anymore. If you don't believe me, watch the latest Marines recruitment videos. I did a podcast on it once. It was hilarious.
It's pretty funny. I try to avoid all of that stuff because it makes me feel bad and sad. I'm not hey unindoctrinated. Welcome to the show, bud. I don't like feeling sad.
Unindoctrinated. Almost the same name as mine.
Tortured. Twisted.
How you
Made
figure?
into a new and ruined form of life.
Well, there's a UN at the front.
Goethe expresses his views on Jews.
And they compare you
You have really low standards.
I do.
to rodents, to lice.
Goethe indicates that he believes Jews are not people.
And I
And
realize
there's an ED at the end, so it's cat.
in the strictest sense of the word, but
Galadriel asserts that the Uruk are not people.
Your kind was a mistake. Made in mockery.
You know, it makes
Goethe
me wonder
makes
if we
reference
didn't
to the
come
racial
across the
views of
same chick.
Nazism, but is also forced to
Because
face
I
the
mean,
reality of
when
Helen's humanity.
look, when I say that woman beat me down like a redheaded stepchild, I mean she did it with panache and style at every turn. It was never a moment where I thought I was going to hurt her. It was always obvious she was trying not to harm me, right? Because I was a fairly big boy. I was 170, 180 pounds at the time, and she bounced me around that yard like a basketball.
Yeah. This girl flew from Texas to meet me one time, and she was one of those cop wannabes. Like she, kept going to the what do you call it? The academy, the
Right.
BET school or whatever it is. Anyway, she never did get in, but she wanted to be a cop. She carried herself like that. She was bragging about how tough she was. She kept wanting to fight me, spar with me. And I kept not, because she's a girl. She's like this tall to me, So finally she decided she was going to hit me in the neck and show me how she could take any man down with one swing. And she hit me in the neck with her hand like that. I went numb from the neck down, but I didn't fall. So I grabbed her and I body slammed her hard. It was on then. That's all she wanted.
Huh.
Of course, I couldn't get it up because she hit me in the neck. But
that is stunning.
she wanted the
Good word.
affirmation of being body slammed, I think. Some chick, you just got a body slam. That's the moral of this story.
Disavow.
She liked it.
the face of a rat. Are these the eyes of a rat? That's not
Also,
what
this guy's like coming on to this girl, and she is not coming on to the other guy. This is not the same
Not
scene.
permanently exterminated, that they are sentient beings who have as much right to life as she.
Each one has a name. Heart.
A heart created by
We
mockery.
are creations of the one, master of the secret fire, the same as you.
He's reaching real hard.
An idea which, like Goethe, she ultimately rejects.
And the scourge of your kind ends with you.
Both
Matter of
villains.
fact, the only similarities between these two scenes is the fact that they're face to face and they're using a lot of Dutch angles.
Genocidal racism is wrong, and
Yeah,
that the race
well,
they seek to annihilate
The lighting
are in
kind of
fact
has
people.
something
Both
going
Galadriel
for it,
and Goethe accuse
but
their victim of
in the
deceit.
black and white, it's a
Maybe
much
not
more
you.
stark comparison,
You talked me into it.
and it doesn't carry
Both
over
villains
into
insult
the
their victim with a racial
into
slur.
the modern version of that's not gonna. It doesn't correlate well.
Yeah,
And at the
that
end
black
of
and white is a little more intimidating too for the scene.
and
Very
attacks
well.
the
I mean,
victim.
the whole scene in black and white is absolutely terrifying. But this guy is not.
In both scenes,
She's not
blood is
frightening,
visibly drawn from the victim,
and he
enough
doesn't
to
look like a
impress upon
victim.
the viewer the need.
And he doesn't look like he's the slightest bit worried about her.
That's
not
what I'm
enough
saying.
to
He
be
doesn't look like a
gratuitous or
victim at all.
life-threatening.
So
Notice also the
she's
attention to detail of the
obviously the
writers,
victim.
mirroring the
Yeah.
scene as closely as
I
possible.
think he's playing her and she don't see it.
The fact that the victim by the tormentor even parallel one another
Like a $2
dramatically.
fiddle.
You Jewish bitch.
You slithering.
And the use of the word you here, you slithering orc, you Jewish bitch, emphasizes the personal hatred that the tormentor feels towards
Like he
the
just
victim,
wanted to
as
say
well
that.
as the tormentor's
Have a reason to say it.
determination to establish psychological dominance, a subtle but important detail. In both scenes, the victim is left in no doubt as to the long-term intentions of the tormentor.
It's also how you begin a sentence talking about the person in front of you.
Before I drive my
Yeah,
dagger
pretty
into your
much.
poisoned
You.
heart, I will whisper.
It's kind of
in your
rude,
vacant
but
ear
yeah. Hey, you.
that all your offspring are dead.
Galadriel has a dark monologue in which she expresses her determination to exterminate the Uruk people.
Your kind was a mistake.
Mm.
Made in mockery. And even if it takes me all of this age, I vow
Well,
to
that
eradicate
analogy
every
holds up.
last
That's exactly what she
Galadriel
was
is here
planning on doing.
expressing
I
in
can see
clear
that.
and direct terms what is continually insinuated in Schindler's List.
She threatened to keep that bastard alive so he could watch the last one die before she killed him.
Is that what that dude said to that woman?
That's pretty savage.
It's policy now.
But Galadriel is not so subtle.
I vow to eradicate every last one of you.
While the Nazi in her wants a final solution to the Uruk problem, the psychopath in her wants to shout her deep hatred of this people out loud and to brag openly about what she will do to them.
You
Again,
can't have it both ways, buddy.
on good.
Is that why they fear us?
She is hot.
That's why they fear us.
Yeah, I can't help that. That's true. She also looks like somebody
This is a
sucked all her
truly
braids
brilliant
out with a
example of the
vacuum.
Rings of Power creators
Like if you
communicating
blow
the
in one ear,
important
her
aspect
hair
of
would
the
lift up on the
Galadriel-based
other side.
Genocidal vision, as well as the nature of the disease.
If you hold her up to your ear, you
as
can
well
get
as the
rape
scene
charges.
parallel, there are general similarities.
Also, you notice how her armor doesn't have any breasts?
And Rings of Power, the central
No.
villain convinces
Well, first of all,
everyone
she
to
doesn't have any
publicly
breasts,
as a
but after
means of
that, her
impressing
armor
upon their
certainly
underlings
doesn't.
the brutality that is expected of them.
You got to admit, she's well protected in that big old shell.
Oh, yeah. Probably can't hardly move. That's why she fell off her horse a minute ago. They tried to play it off like she meant to, but I know what's up.
Tool. Fear is their main weapon. Adar talks to Galadriel not because she uses physical violence to extract information from him, but because she threatens to torture his kinsmen painfully to death.
That's the type of woman who
Perhaps we should bring our
drives
prisoners
out in
into
the country on a country drive alone in her
Helen
car
meekly
with
serves
nobody
good,
around,
not
wears
because
a
he hates
mask,
her, but because he has instilled
talks about
in
living her
a
best
deep
life.
That's
animal
the kind of woman to bring your mother up in an argument.
Right? Oh my God! Try that. See what happens.
What does he want to hear?
I mean,
Both
you knew
Galadriel
my
and
mom.
Goethe
Come
view
on,
the
man.
individual members of the race they despise as
That I
having
did.
no value outside of the labor that can be extracted from them. Goethe believes that any Jew not justifying his or her continued existence by working must be executed immediately. Galadriel likewise cannot conceive of the idea that an Uruk can have any value
There's a
outside of
tempest
the
in
labor
me.
it provides, even when presented with evidence to the
Here, tell
contrary.
there's one in a teacup too. So I mean, what are we
They are not
saying?
children, they are slaves.
As is the case with Goethe, ideology has overridden her rational thought. Both Galadriel and Goethe use
ATL, you gonna cloud up and rain all over us?
fear and
Right.
corroboration.
I gotta admit though, his layout is absolutely beautiful. It's pretty.
To the left of
Yeah.
this, the man to the right of him.
Perhaps we should bring our prisoners into the sunlight.
It is also possible that
Just a
parallels
little
are drawn
torturing
between
amongst
Galadriel and
friends.
the infamous Nazi Reinhard Heydrich, who has been described as the architect of the Holocaust, and who, following his brutal crackdown against the Czech resistance, was nicknamed the Blonde Beast. Galadriel is a striking blonde. Her character is heavily associated with Nazism on both a conscious and subconscious level, and she even has a nickname of her own,
It's
which she
dog
has earned
whistles.
through her ruthless pursuit and slaughter of the orcs.
Galadriel,
Is that an Irish accent I hear?
scourge of the orcs.
While the writers may not be deliberately trying to create a direct link between Galadriel and Heydrich, as they did between Galadriel and Goethe, the blonde beast persona is nonetheless an interesting aspect of Galadriel's character. The Nazis are the closest thing to pure evil to have emerged in human history, and popular culture has strongly associated between Nazism and evil.
Not particularly. Most of them were just people trying to get by.
And Nazism. A clearer picture is built up of Galadriel as the night.
All right, children, let's let this be a lesson. We do not live in a world that Charlie Manson predicted. I refuse. I won't do it. I will not judge you by your skin color. I will judge you by your merit, no other.
Amen.
Although I might have a little something to say about your accent, because that's just weird. Why you talk like that? Why you talk like that, man?
Why you talking like that?
But why you talk like that, though?
Well, that's what it is.
I'll say, boy, we speak like we speak. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, are you understanding what I'm trying to tell you, boy?
I was born with a mouthful of marbles, and they never went away.
What an unusual circumstance. Did the
Yeah.
doctor have anything to do with that?
I don't know.
Huh. Seems suspect.
It's a southern thing.
There is also one other brief scene
Look at how
parallel
she's sitting.
and Schindler's List, which serves to further emphasize Galadriel's role as
It all hang out.
In Schindler's List, one of the last scenes shows
You'd need a
Schindler
can
addressing
opener
the
to get
Jews
at
he
that.
saved from the Holocaust. He stands before them, towering over them as a savior figure, the light pouring from the massive windows behind him onto the faces of the saved, assembled together in this place of refuge and safety. In Rings of Power, this scene is paralleled by the brief scene which shows the hero, Sauron,
I'm going straight to
towering
hell,
before the
y'all.
orcs he has
I'll
saved
save
from
you
the
a seat.
genocidal designs of the demon Galadriel, the light pouring onto them from the large cave mouth behind him. These last of a persecuted people looking up to their savior, who has led them in an odyssey of escape from extermination. Another interesting parallel between Schindler and Sauron is that both could have made themselves rich as war profiteers, but instead chose to save a hunted people and impoverish themselves in the process. Schindler is a highly skilled and experienced industrialist. He could have produced shells for the Reich military, but sabotages his own machines so that he will not contribute to the slaughter. Sauron is shown to be
because he's a normal guy who was just trying to get by, forced into his predicament. It's the leaders of that party that were truly evil, not the people in it.
Chose to be a savior.
Not all of them.
And the
Well,
blacksmith.
I mean,
That being said, a crowd of people can be talked into almost anything.
Just as the Galadriel
yeah,
DLC
the more
is
people you
designed
get
to
involved
villain
in the group, the
Galadriel
lower
as
the
moral
IQ
equivalent
is.
of
Yeah, a
Nazis.
person is smart. A crowd is stupid and cagey and panicky, and you know it.
His role in
Dangerous.
standing against the Leviathan that would plunge Middle-earth into darkness. There is also a strong demonic presence in Galadriel. There are constant hints throughout the show of Galadriel as a satanic being, and her demonism is confirmed in the final episode. An early
Really?
hint of Galadriel's demonic character is when she declares,
There is a tempest in me.
this is a very unusual,
Oh,
specific choice of words.
no, it's
Although
just
these
she's
days
on
are
a period.
storms to be climatic events, the peoples of Tolkien's world would
She
have
might be onto
understood them
something
as
there, then.
supernatural events, as our own ancestors did. When Galadriel makes reference to a tempest in herself,
Things not to say when you're trying to intimidate people. There's a tempest in me.
telling her to bring into being the living nightmare she seeks to create by plunging her world into endless war. In the season climax, Demon Galadriel is referenced in physical form when she transforms from her human form, the beautiful, beguiling exterior, to her interior monster form, the demonic, blood-ravenous blonde beast. In another example of how
And she
brilliant
looks exactly the same.
Fire is, the essentially
I'll be
metaphysical nature
hanging
of
around
Galadriel's
outside
evil,
the McDonald's
that is her
branch
embodiment of
in
evil
hell,
itself,
where the
is
broken
here
ice cream
revealed.
machine is always
Galadriel
broken.
is not an evil character in Rings
And
of
it's
Fire.
always the
She
guy
is
right
simply
behind you's
evil
number.
itself in its pure, unrefined form. Galadriel's role as the nexus of evil
I don't
and
think this
mankind
word means what he thinks it
symbolized
means.
by the chunk of mithril, which refuses to bind with lesser metals.
The mithril is proud.
refuses every effort to bond it with lesser ores.
The Mithrils
You ain't got but a little scrap of it, man. Try using a little more.
nature. Galadriel is pure evil. There is no good in her, and like the Mithril, which refuses to mix with metals it considers beneath it, Galadriel refuses all attempts the world around her makes to bring good into her being. We see Galadriel's proud insistence upon evil when she refuses to turn back on her hunt for victims in the northern wastelands, instead marching her exhausted soldiers on in pursuit of blood. We see dismissal of the good when Elrond beseeches her to abandon the path of death and destruction that she has set herself on.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel. Put up your sword.
In response to this suggestion to live a more peaceful life, to practice good, Galadriel insults Elrond.
You have not seen what I have seen.
The obvious example of Galadriel refusing the penetration of light into the demonic chasm that resides in her in place of a soul is when she explodes into a rage at Sauron's suggestion of a political marriage between them as a basis for a long-term peace. Such a marriage would allow a powerful, if fragile, political alliance to take effective control of Middle-earth. In exchange for a recognized position of political authority, Sauron would give up his designs of defensive warfare against the elves, and Galadriel would abandon her campaign of extermination against the Uruk people. Sauron would work with Celebrimbor to create the rings, which would be an existential guarantee for the elves. This would be an excellent arrangement for all parties, and quite apart from the long-term benefits for the people of Middle-earth,
Kat,
it would be of great benefit to Galadriel, since she would gain a strong husband in Sauron and a kingdom of her own. However, in spite of all this, Galadriel not only refuses this proposal, but is enraged by it. The behemoth that inhabits her being rises to the surface. In response to Sauron's proposal of a marriage founded upon peace, but which may eventually blossom into love, Galadriel vows to kill Sauron.
You will die because of me!
This show has expertly included many subtle but repeated instances in which Galadriel refuses any invitation to good in order to communicate the otherworldly nature of her evil. She is not evil in the sense that a common murderer is evil. He may regret his crime, or at the very least, in his own mind, have excuses for it. But Demon Galadriel is an anthropomorphic character. She is the very embodiment of evil. In the Jackson trilogy, Sauron was depicted as a giant red burning eye, a symbol of the darkness that was spreading over Middle-earth. In Rings of Power, the showrunners have boldly chosen to make their representation of this darkness Galadriel, a normal-looking human woman. A living force of demonic moral corruption, but contained within a beautiful vessel. This dichotomy of the beautiful exterior with the demonic interior is a far more complex, realistic, and ultimately representation of evil. For when the devil appears in life, it is not in the form of a monster, but in the form of something that, at least at first, appears beautiful. When we first see Galadriel in the show, she is the very picture of purity and innocence. A golden child playing in a meadow. But by the end, the mask of humanity has slipped, and the audience sees Galadriel for what she truly is.
Where's your problem?
The Antichrist. The Rings of Power visionaries wanted to create a demonic paragon, a being of truly supernatural moral depravity.
You can't
in order
judge
to
her on human
achieve this,
standards.
they created psychological and symbolic
I am
elements
not a psychopath. I am a can of tuna, though.
Nazi war criminals, and indeed to Satan himself. Rings of Power's
Sounds like
antagonist is
raw
much
leather and
more than
old
just
beef
another
steak.
screen villain. She is the Luciferian ideal made flesh, the daughter of darkness, the mirror which reflects all evils that abide in man's heart. She is Galadriel. Thanks for listening, subscribe, and don't forget that there is a temple.
All right. So I'm gonna drop that link one more time. It's in all these are in the description. Y'all can go check them out. I actually advise you to go check this one out. He's got a bunch of like weird takes, which is what drew me to it. But okay, Galadriel as a psychopath.
No, I like her better as a can of tuna. And here she is to defend herself. I am not a psychopath.
Sociopath?
I am a can of tuna, though.
What do you reckon? You're absolutely useless at this, dude.
I'm useless at what?
The repartee.
Really?
You're not doing it.
What am I supposed to be doing?
We're supposed to be having like a battery type conversation where we go on and on about absolutely nothing, and then we go on to the next video.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were doing.
But it takes a 2-part conversation like we're doing now.
That hasn't stopped. I just had to pee. Come on, man.
I see how that works.
I'm back.
Come on, man. True or not a Shabbat pressure.
Listen, she's not a psychopath. She is a bad actress.
I'm gonna go with my previous sociopath thing. I think if she could have accomplished her goal without being notorious, would have done it. However, because she had the outlet through which to acquire the military to accomplish the absolute extermination of a race, she attempted it.
I didn't see any of that. All I saw was her going rogue and being bitchy with a sword. I didn't see her army. Of course, I didn't get to watch the whole show, but what I watched, all I saw was her running around claiming that she killed everybody, but I didn't see her do any of it.
Yeah, well, she killed a couple of orcs, but
yeah,
on screen. Otherwise, if she was just supposedly this awesome warrior.
Yeah, but like that stack of helmets at the beginning of this video, I didn't see any of that battle.
No, that was a dream. I'm almost positive that was a dream. Notice she's in a nightgown, man.
Yeah, but wasn't her character supposed to be like the general of an army that fought for like 1,000 years and just couldn't quit? Wasn't that the setup of her character?
Yeah, no, like they're at the end of this supposed victorious routing of a notorious enemy they've been fighting for an age.
Well, not only does she not look like she's ever been in a battle, she has no scars or blood-soaked hair or dirty fingernails even. Her sword is shiny.
Well, it's also elven steel, but we'll skip right past magic and everything, and we'll just go to the psychological impacts of her decisions, right?
So maybe she made it all up to make herself look tougher than she actually is.
It sounds the whole show reads or feels and tastes like a fanfic.
Yeah, she's wearing makeup, dude. She's not a general of an army.
Get the good scene that I want. Hold up. Not this one, not that one. It's her standing there in that fucking clamshell.
Yeah.
I mean,
I say she's a poser, and the elves just trying to get rid of her.
Well, they do try real hard to send her to the Never Never Land of elven kind.
Let's get this crazy bitch out of here before she stirs up any more trouble, causes problems on the council.
Well, the downside is the whole premise of the show is that she's right.
Oh.
And the fact that she's right, that Sauron is out there and is trying to rebuild a new army and is coming to try to collect all of the magic. And so essentially she's correct, even though every single decision she makes throughout the entire show is ethically suspect.
And wasn't Sauron that guy that was clearly not a white wizard?
Dude, I couldn't swear to you who anybody in that show was because they kept trying to flip-flop it around from episode to episode. I watched it all twice, and I'm sorry I did it.
Was it the wizard guy, or was it the guy that she befriended who was supposed to be a good king? Was that the bad guy?
The guy that she befriended that was supposed to be a good king, I believe, was Sauron.
Okay. Well, he was clearly trying to not be Sauron anymore. She brought him back into his job, so clearly she's at fault for Sauron.
And the old bastard was actually the Saruman.
Yeah.
It wasn't Gandalf because, it'd been too easy if it'd been Gandalf.
Also, somebody trying very hard to not remember who he was.
I appreciate it, John. You're welcome,
John.
Good to see you.
Dinacola. Is that like Coca-Cola?
We come down to sociopath or psychopath.
I say she is a PMS sufferer.
Ooh, we caught her on a Tuesday. All right. Next.
Tempest in the light.
You mean I'm not any good at this?
You're no good.
Great conversationalist.
We are both sucking at this whole thing, dude. We've ruined the show. We should just cancel it. There's no point. And what just happened?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. All right. Hold up. So what we have here,
Failure to communicate. No.
what we have here is a failure to communicate. So this is Knight is the name of the channel. I got the link dropped over here in chat. He's going to be discussing the unsettling dead YouTube channels out there, the ones that YouTube banned, and people still have bits and pieces of these banned channels content re-uploaded after the fact that YouTube hasn't taken down.
Banned for criticizing Power of the Ring.
No, simply banned for being dangerous, predatory, or otherwise damaging, and some like directly against terms of service type stuff.
But nothing to do with the show.
No.
Okay.
No. This is YouTube. Everything's YouTube based in general.
You've moved on.
We've moved on to another topic.
Gotcha.
So welcome to the second part of the show.
Maybe it'll be better than the first. It's hard to be excited about something you dislike so vehemently.
Oh, right. Well, you might actually agree with this dude. He's got a little bit of a different take on video, because there's a lot of different stuff out there that could be suspect. Some of this stuff is just downright evil.
It's hard to deny how big of a platform YouTube is. With 500 hours worth of video uploaded every minute worldwide, that leaves you with a lot of content to consume. While a lot of this content is relatively innocent in nature, it shouldn't surprise you that many disturbing channels and videos make their way onto the platform. So, today, we are going to look into the most disturbing YouTube channels that got terminated.
Untethered Live, no.
Before I hop in the video, I just wanted to take a moment and say that I hope you're doing okay. No matter what you may be going through right now, I know that you'll pull through and come out on the other side. It's natural.
Looks like a girl.
Ups and downs in life. Just remember that it's okay to not.
I don't
be
know,
okay
but I'm
all
vaguely
of the
attracted
time.
to it.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, enough of my blabbering. Let's hop in today's video. Kamerzista was a Polish YouTuber that was primarily known for his vlog content that was filmed alongside his group of buddies, whom he called Squad. The majority of his content would come from his second channel, which went by the name of Camus. On this channel, you would find a plethora of content that was pretty similar to most of the uber popular vlogging channels that were out there. You know the ones. Crazy challenges that are so outlandishly absurd that it would make for a great video, or just standard vlogging with high energy and intensity to keep the viewers engaged.
Mr. Beast wannabe.
Apparently went a little too far in his challenges, because a challenge video would be uploaded that raised all sorts of controversy. It's been reported that in the video, Kamerzista and his squad were coming up with a set of challenges for a person that had a mental disability. Some of the challenges included eating cat litter, swimming in sewage, jumping from the balcony into a garbage bin, and even breaking bricks over his own head.
And swimming in Chernobyl. I'm pretty sure I've seen that one. Where have you seen that one? Where the kid goes swimming?
I have not, but I assume I'm about to.
No, this is this is a different channel. I'll go dig that one up when we make it to the end of all this.
You shouldn't make mentally retarded people jump into sewage.
I messed it all up, y'all. Did it wrong.
In the filming, the squad wasn't aware of the person's disability. It was made very clear to the public after a few days. Kamerzista claimed that he had no idea this person was mentally disabled at the time of filming, and he even said that he wasn't going to apologize for what he had done. He claims that he didn't force the person to do anything and that it was all on his own. It didn't warrant any type of apology. This didn't sit well with numerous creators, and many were outspoken about disavowing the actions of Kamerzista and his squad. Commenters shared their thoughts about Kamerzista in a Eudoxia Mysteries video. He forgot to add that Kamerzista had a court sentence, probably forbidding him to show his image on the internet. He also had a sentence for beating a 66-year-old guy. As someone from Poland, I'm really glad you talked.
Oh, bother.
Polish joke.
Yeah, insert Polish joke here. So, wait. Maybe if I do this.
About Kamerzista.
Yeah, no, that's
Most
over.
Polish
That's why I
YouTubers
would
and
do
other
that.
people have been trying to get him out of YouTube for years. He did a lot of f***ed up stuff. So, while getting him arrested was a small victory, even though it should have been done sooner. Camrozista would eventually be arrested and put in jail for his actions.
That's Danny Days.
While I couldn't find exact court information in regards to his arrest, it has been cited from youtube.fandom.com that he, quote, was remanded for 5.5 months. His first hearing was in September, and second at the beginning of October. The third is planned to be in November. His main channel, Camrozista, and second channel, Chemis, would be terminated for violating YouTube's terms of service.
We could just put a different colored bag on his head and move on.
Commenter in the same Eudoxia Mysteries video that,
He went to
quote,
prison.
he hit an older man who defended a cashier Camrozista tried to prank in the face, and that man died as a result. Again, I couldn't...
Yeah, apparently, during one of his more audacious attempts at a quote-unquote prank, he scared a guy who pushed him, and he hit him, and it killed the guy.
Yep, that'll get you put in prison.
And so, because he staged it, planned it, and filmed it, that's premeditation. Now,
That's what we call murder, folks.
Yeah, it's definitely homicide, no doubt.
So for any of my Polish viewers out there, feel free to let me know and just get in here and set the record straight about any of this stuff. This absolutely seems wild to me, and I'd love some confirmation on it. I will admit right out of the gate that there is no way I can fit all of the information about this guy into one measly segment. I implore you to look into some other videos as well for supplemental knowledge, because I promise you, I will only be grazing the top of the iceberg on this one. Only users would join YouTube on March 24th of 2009. With Call of Duty gameplay booming at the time, he decided to join in on the fun with a very unique gameplay style. As his name suggests, he would only use his knife when attacking opponents in the game. This very odd play style caused many people to gain interest in his videos. So many people, in fact, that he would reach 30,000 subscribers around January 6th of 2010, and amass tens of thousands of views per video. Many people praised Blade for his wacky playstyle, saying that, quote, he was the best knifer, and that his style was so fun they decided to copy it. His channel was only going up from there after many popular collaborations, one such YouTuber being Seafarers. These collaborations would often contain what is called a dual commentary, where both of the respected YouTubers would give their commentary as the game went on. It wouldn't be long after these collaborations that he would run into a content creator by the name of Keemstar. They would meet at a Call of Duty Black Ops tournament that had many notable...
All right, that weird little clicky thing that's going on, that shit's like, wow, grating on my nerves. I don't like it. I don't like
what
it.
Do you suspect? What do you expect when you have a guy on screen that's full of tap water and soybeans?
I guess so.
Call of Duty figures at the time. Some notable people being White Boy 7th Street, X-Jaws, and Wings of Redemption. After what seemed
a
like
gun cock,
the two, they would become close friends and even start a podcast by the name of Bad Kid Show. They would also do a bunch of videos in real life together. Their friendship would diminish, though, in around 2019 after a flurry of accusations, controversies, and other drama. In 2014, Blade would begin streaming and doing what was called drinking streams. Essentially, it was him getting absolutely hammered while live to his audience.
He's
It really wasn't anything deeper than that. This change of pace in his content would ultimately lead to his downfall. It became
now
very
he's living in a van down by the river.
He was always slurring his speech in his streams, and coupled with these drinking streams, it wasn't looking good for the guy. On top of his drinking problem, he also couldn't keep his hands to himself. While I won't be showing any footage of these incidents, Blade has
call a pedophile. He can't
running
his
his
job
without their consent. This groping was obviously frowned upon by many. Now, obviously, there's two paths that you can pick in this scenario. One, own up to it and apologize, or two, double down. I want you to take a guess on what Blade did.
Ooh, double down.
I believe he was an upstanding citizen.
So if some random ugly whore gets groped, she gets groped.
Ugly whore.
Accept it. You should be welcome, whore. You should be welcome, whore.
Damn.
Seriously, you should be honored that would ever grope you.
Wow. He really just He came out and said that.
That's a bit more than doubling down, bud.
His actions and behavior
went all in.
better. In 2019, he was invited to do an RV stream trip. It should have been nothing more than that, just a simple RV stream, but of course, it only gets worse. Of course it does. Blade, while intoxicated, began to push around a streamer by the name of Baked Alaska. Baked Alaska was getting very fed up with Blade's antics and eventually took matters into his own hands. Here is what went down.
Stabbed him in the heart in his van down by the river.
Why you touch me like that? There you go. You just spilled on my phone and you touch me like that.
All right. Everyone in this van glows in the dark. They're all federales, dude.
I'm about to get their ass beat.
Baked Alaska is currently under federal indictment.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken exactly what level of legalese he's involved in. I know that he's on a list for absolutely certain. He was at the January 6th fiasco, and as I understand it, he went into Pelosi's office, took some pictures of him doing stuff. So he glows in the dark, man, and I wonder exactly when that started.
He masturbated on her documents.
I don't know what he did in the office. I don't think those pictures were ever released, but I hear tell that they're supposed to be releasing them soon, and I can't wait for the intro that I'm going to build out of those. Out of that,
get them unstuck.
Yeah, if we can just peel them apart, just like an old Macy's catalog.
Documents. I got the documents. They're in the black helicopter.
No, you grabbed me, bro.
It was
I did.
There you go.
You better fucking watch yourself, bro.
You got a piece of
Am I not nice to you?
You're big. Then you grabbed me and started pressing me on the phone, dude. Yeah.
Damn.
This entire RV trip seems like an absolute mess from the get-go, but the thing that really ties everything together is an incident that involves another streamer by the name of Gucci's.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Next to another streamer, he inquires about whether he should go to the back of the RV and have intercourse with the blacked-out woman in the back, the streamer being Gucci's.
Can I go have sex with Gucci's real quick? Hi, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta pee.
Gucci's would eventually report Blade, and he would be removed from the RV and the trip entirely. About a year after the incident, Gucci's would also confirm these allegations of rape, but stated that she just never followed through with the case.
And then to think that he never got charged just because it didn't happen. No, it actually did happen. I just didn't fucking charge him. What the
There's also footage of him throwing a dog on stream. Overall, Blade was just on a downward spiral that never seemed to let up. Addicted to alcohol, rapey vibes towards many of the women in his life, and an animal abuser. Blade went from being on top with his YouTube career all the way
He's
down
a Nazi. That's a trifecta.
Alcoholic that essentially has a fan base paying to see him die every time he flips on the camera. On November 11th of 2020, Only Use Me Blade got banned after being accused of assault, racism, and spam donations. The 24-hour cam channel got banned, and then his main channel linked to it was banned. If you were ever around during the big boom of the 3 a.m. challenges, you know that I'm J Station was a major driver for that type of content. With his very energetic...
All right, are you familiar with I'm J Station?
No.
All right. So he would do these things where he would do okay, everywhere on Earth is haunted at the right time. You just got to go there at 3 a.m. And he always had phenomena and effects taking place all the time. It was huge a few years ago. Absolutely huge. I think he got 300,000 subscribers before they took him down.
Wow.
He got huge.
Attitude, you can understand why he had an audience of many people going to watch his videos. While I admit the content and energy is way too hyper for me, I can still understand why a younger...
It wasn't exactly the ghosts. It was the fact that he was in there bouncing around doing this thing that he does, and folks would just sit and drool and watch him.
Hey, I could get me one of those night vision cameras and go out and film my cats running around in the yard and say they're ghosts too.
$6.66. That is the devil's number, guys. 666, and that's McDonald's most ordered item, guys.
I
If
recently
you ever see a
uploaded
video of mine,
Rescore
that
and
is
6,
that
you
I'm not
moron.
saying that I am literally screaming at the camera. You can take me.
I recently uploaded my 666th video.
I saw that, you devil worshiper.
And then I uploaded my 667th video, and YouTube promptly took it down.
Really? Why?
I used a clip from Matt Christensen.
Oh,
It
you know
was
what
very
else 666 is? A number that comes after 665.
And before 667.
After the death of rapper Mac Miller, Jay uploaded a video titled R.I.P. Mac Miller, Spirit Box Challenge at 3 a.m. Speaks about Ariana Grande. Adam22, a creator of the No Jumper podcast, reacted to Jay's video and had a few things to say about it. If you're unfamiliar with the No Jumper podcast, the podcast is known for its raw, unfiltered approach on hip-hop and underground culture.
I see filters on every one of those
Adam22 and his
microphones.
guests discuss a range of topics, including music, fashion, and current events. Here is what he had to say.
I know he's going to a better place now, guys. Smash the like button on this video. Every like on this video is a prayer for Mac Miller, his friends, or his family. Let's try
Oh
to get
no! Are you serious?
I watched this video because I thought it was going to be a cringe fest. That was so much worse than I actually thought it was going to be.
Jay even did a video on the passing of XXXTentacion, which also received major backlash. This didn't seem to dissuade I'm Jay Station, though. I'm curious if his philosophy on YouTube was negative attention is still attention. The thing that essentially united the YouTube community to turn on Jay was when he made a video on the deceased content creator by the name of Etika. Etika was a very popular streamer and YouTuber that brought all sorts of energy and entertainment to the table. You can tell that he enjoyed what he did through his interactions with his chat and just the energy. Of course, Jay Station, being Jay Station, uploaded a 3 a.m. challenge video about it. This
Wonder why he's
received
got a black eye.
creators that knew Etika personally. Jay Station's channel remained, and nothing was actually done about it. Even after
he always has a black eye.
Yeah, somebody popped him a good one.
Crazy.
After the video got 300,000 dislikes in 24 hours, Jay Station couldn't take it and still kept pressing forward with that type of content. He even made a video that talked about how his girlfriend had died. And of course, in Jay Station fashion, he made a 3 a.m. video about it. He claimed that his girlfriend had died in a car accident and that her dying wish was to get his second channel to 1 million subscribers. You can't make it up.
Yes, yes, you can. He just did.
For serious, though. Like, really?
Really?
Really? Wow. How much of a sleaze bucket do you have to be to not only pretend your girlfriend's dead, but pretend she's communicating with you from the afterlife?
To get you bumped up on YouTube.
For 1 million subs. Hey, Izzy Pop. Welcome to the show.
My girlfriend's dead, and her last words were, "We just got to get untethered over 1 million subs." So go press like and subscribe right now, please, before she dies more.
And next week she'll die again, just for that 1 million too.
Mm-hmm. And we'll bring the dog with us.
Oh dear God, not the dog. That would
Not the
get you
dog.
YouTube. Not anything but the dog.
Udahar from Some Ordinary Gamers were very swift in debunking this claim. One of the major things that led to discovering this was fake was due to no Ottawa cases in the area that matched what Jay Station had.
One of the major factors in proving this was a hoax was he said it out loud.
Yeah, on YouTube.
People heard it.
Probably not true.
The Toronto Police Services Traffic Department.
No, I don't have anything by that name on the system.
So in Toronto, nobody by that name specifically has suffered any form of death, right?
Don't be silly. That guy doesn't have a girlfriend.
Jay Station is lying about his dead girlfriend. I spent the entire night browsing and checking with police department in Toronto and Ottawa. no police reports, no local news agencies, and worst of all, no family.
girlfriend.
I'm done with YouTube. I'm dumb for feeling sorry. He would later be arrested for faking his girlfriend's death and for assault with a deadly weapon. He would be taken to court on March 16th of 2020.
What?
Shortly after that,
did not show.
It seems like maybe the death might be fake, but only because he didn't finish the job.
Right. Assault with a deadly weapon.
Right.
He was taken to court on March 16th. His girlfriend did not show up because he don't have one. He's going to prison for a fake girlfriend.
A girl, yeah, right. You can't prove she's alive because she never actually existed.
Let this be a lesson, kids. Your girlfriend does not live in Canada. She's not busy all the time.
And if she does, at least verify that a girl lives at that address so that you can verify that you haven't murdered her recently.
Yeah, or, in Canada.
Or, somewhere. The vast numbers of women that I've knocked up in the greater New York, Buffalo area.
Yes, I killed one of them, but good luck finding out who it is.
I don't even remember who it was.
YouTube would go on to demonetize his main YouTube channel for his arrest. On March 12th of 2021, Jay's channels would get terminated for violating YouTube's terms of service due to his faked dead girlfriend videos. He has attempted to come back, but it has been unsuccessful. He also apparently...
Honestly, dude, that disturbs me.
He spoke to Dr. Phil. He said he could help me come back to YouTube. Is he talking to your girlfriend too? If I don't make the same kind of videos I made before, I want to make renovation videos now. I won't let you down, Dr. Phil. Thank you so much for totally talking to me and helping me get my 1 million subs.
Yeah, right. Because Dr. Phil died. I'm going to talk to him at 3 a.m.
Guys, Dr. Phil died, and his last words were, "You
I
need
want
to
my
talk to my
third channel.
girlfriend."
My third channel to 1 million subs.
Apparently attempted to leverage Dr. Phil's platform to get him on YouTube, but that obviously wasn't successful. While YouTube is a wonderful platform with a lot of information to give, there are obviously creators out there that want to abuse the system or go out of their way to do really bad things. Before we hop in the end segment, though, I would like to thank my tormented.
Has this man ever
seen
seen a Ralph stream? All right, are you familiar with Ralph?
All right, there's Ralph.
There's a YouTuber named Backwards Internet who specializes in Ralph streams. These are
Ralph as in
I don't even know his last name. He did the kill stream a few years ago. He got deuced off of YouTube for basically just being drunk and an asshole.
Okay.
And went to D Live, was
contagious.
He was the main headliner for D Live for a while, and I don't know. He does things. He lives behind paywall, all that stuff. And
Benjamin was that guy for a little while.
Backwards Internet does a full channel on all of the shenanigans that go on over there. So I'm not going to get into any of that because I just don't care enough to care. The point is, he's a big rage pig who likes to scream and yell and jump around and break stuff on the screen. And he acquired this reputation by basically doing what the guy in the last bit was doing, where he just got drunk all the time and went nuts, did horrible things. But so far, at least,
hadn't killed anybody.
Yeah, he hadn't killed anybody, right?
But his girlfriend is awful chatty.
Blue Unicorn is live, y'all. Hey, hold up. No. Probably mad at me. I'm going to pick on him. Blue Unicorn is no longer alive. This is sadness. We missed it.
For real?
All missed it. And now I'm sad because I really want to do that one. It is absolutely true.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Hey, what's up, Gary?
I heard someone else left the planet the other day. Fair Lady, is that
Fair
true?
Lady is, I understand it, but I don't I really don't trust YouTube a whole lot.
Well, I haven't gotten any confirmation on it. I just heard about it. I didn't know the person.
She showed up like, I think, one chat, one live stream, maybe two. I don't know that she actually showed up in my live stream. It could have been in someone else's live stream.
All I know is the people in my chat seemed to know who it was, and they were distraught, hoping that she hadn't committed suicide, and that's the last I heard.
As far as I know, she's disappeared. She left a weird comment post and then deleted it, and a community tab post and then deleted it and then disappeared. I didn't catch the tab. I don't know what was.
I don't either.
I
pray for them anyway.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
From Tormented Nights, I have Andrea, EB Agent J, James, Mousky, Nee, Skeleton Bone Lord, and Shyla. And for my Knighted patrons, I have Cherisy, Emma, Envy, Lila, Lucas, Naomi, Nixie, and Timo.
Stop making up words.
It honestly means so much to me. Thank you all. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, why not like and subscribe? It definitely helps me out. If you didn't, though, why not dislike and let me know what I can improve on for next time. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
what you wish for. All right, so that guy was effeminate.
He was cute, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I find him. I'm slightly aroused.
Dates Love, what's up?
A common feature.
All right, where are we at?
A common feature.
Really?
Really?
No, that's not right. It's
common
this
feature of the
gazelle
is it has a faux penis.
All right, so check it out. Everyone's heard of the aggressive apes, right? That back in the 18th, 19th century, when explorers were exploring Africa, there was a regular report of apes attacking packs of
hyenas.
Gear.
Yeah,
the people carrying the stuff for the great white hunters would be attacked by killer apes. And while there are a very few cases of baboons attacking people,
mostly chimpanzees do that.
But I know of no case where chimpanzees attack people.
Really? I can think of 2 or 3 right off the top of my head.
Not in their natural environment. Yeah. That was Travis the chimp and Chucky the chimp, and then that other one, Gimpy.
Baboons attack people too.
That's what I just said. The baboons occasionally attack people, and they'll eat your face. But chimps generally just will leave if you give them an opportunity.
Well, I've seen them hunting other monkeys for sure.
Sure.
I just assumed they would do that to people.
Well, as I understand it, certain types of monkeys will snatch babies.
Yeah,
they'll come up in the house and just grab the youngin and run out the window and drop.
I've seen a spider monkey do that.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Rode up on a motorcycle and snatched a youngin, and the only reason it didn't take it and eat it is because the father caught it. You ever see that video? Monkey rode up on a motorcycle, a little motorcycle. Rode up, jumped off the bike, grabbed a 3-year-old and started dragging him down the road by the leg. And the father ran out and kicked the monkey and got the baby back.
I'm utterly baffled. I'm going to have to go looking for that one.
Yeah. Just type in monkey on motorcycle steals baby.
Evolution is that the modern cast of large carnivorans have somehow disappeared. Large felids, spotted hyenas, bears, and big game canids often inexplicably vanish for the crime of being too normal. Too much quo, and one or more of the Spec Evo roster are picked to replace them. Chiropterans have already been discussed in the Future Predators video,
but
what only mildly touched on in the Mer video are primates. As large charismatic mammals that show good ability to adapt to human areas, and often partially dabble in a spot of carnivory themselves, primates make for a tempting choice to turn into your next top predator. But let's explore how carnivory already exists in primates, how it could hypothetically develop further with generous helpings of fiction, and how this trope is often presented in existing Spec Evo. So one thing it's worth noting at the start, primates can already be considered top-order predators in some ecosystems. Chimpanzees in Kabale National Park preferentially hunt red colobus monkeys, that are often a favoured prey of chimps over much of their range. and their hunting is so frequent and successful that the colobus have entered a population decline. The chimps gradually responded with fewer and typically less successful hunts of other monkeys, like...
This goes a little further than just monkey hunts, because they're actually, the troops of chimps seem to actually be on a vendetta of eradication.
Yeah. Well, those chimps don't like those other monkeys because they look gay.
Or possibly they both eat figs. Either way.
It could be that too.
Like red tails and mangabays, but still prefer colobus. Multiple kills.
Fig butts?
Fig butt. Oh. No, I've seen chimpanzees eat monkey. They'll hunt them. They'll herd them into a tree and then give them no way out. They'll surround them and then they'll eat them while they're still alive. You can hear the monkey screaming. It's terrifying.
Well, that's just disturbing. I find your lack of happy thoughts disturbing.
And they eat them from the ass first for some reason.
Are you making an effort to be gory?
No, that's true.
Okay.
Kills were often common, up to 13 kills in a single hunt, and chimps hunted in large parties from a large population. In short, chimpanzees exhibit significant effects on their preferred prey, greater so than other predators in the area like leopards or crowned eagles. And considering many carnivorous mammals regulate their prey bases rather than depress them, it can be argued chimps have a greater impact on their prey than something like a wolf or a lion does on its own. So for all intents and purposes, primates effectively fulfill the role of top-order carnivores on their prey species with long-lasting impacts on their population trends. The notion of Spec Evo murder monkeys is still alive and well in our present-day Anthropocene. In smaller ways too, some monkeys can have a diet primarily comprised of animal biomass. Savanna monkeys in some areas have a diet mainly comprised of crabs, which technically makes them predators too. Indeed, a lot of smaller primates can have invertebrates form a big chunk of their diet, as they're an easy way to satisfy protein and certain vitamin needs. But this often isn't really what people are looking for, and it may be worth a moment to address what the goal of some Spec Evo is. Spec Evo is typically for fun, and whilst for some the satisfaction of accuracy takes that form, for many more it's much more about creature creativity.
What is this guy even talking about?
Spec Evo. I'm not 100% sure that I understand what Spec Evo is.
I don't either.
I like his take on the whole what it would take to make a competitively aggressive apex predator primate.
Monkeys are just like any other animal. If you give them a taste of blood, they'll keep going for it. They won't attack people necessarily, but if they ever get the taste for it, they'll keep doing it, just like a bear will. You have to put them down.
I figured a bear did it because you're crunchy and tasty on the inside.
No, a bear generally is a vegetarian. They will eat anything, especially other bears, little bears, but they typically won't. We're talking about brown bears, not grizzlies. They typically won't eat people, but if they ever get the taste of blood and meat, they'll prefer it. They'll actively seek it out.
Especially, the goal seemingly isn't to try and create a uniquely primate predator, but to try and recreate another predator using the primate family. Dougal Dixon had his utterly cursed
that's just terrifying.
Those.
This guy's just making shit up.
And Rajang move like and have some similarities to big cats. Indeed, the lion-like baboon is often a tempting trope to fall into, especially with how much Hamadryas baboons look like them already. I personally can't help
a horny monkey.
That some people wipe out certain animals only to painstakingly remake them with another taxa. It's maybe more understandable with birds, varanids, and crocodilians to try and remake retrosaurs.
Crocodilian?
Evo is often much more, like, wouldn't it be cool if, and much less, what would actually happen.
Aguilators.
And not that there's anything wrong with that. Indeed, it's hard trying to predict what would happen. And for millennia, it's not hugely likely that drastic changes would occur quickly in the future megafauna species anyway.
You can't mate
but
these
not
two species.
Spec
Evo.
To see what the potential I got it. Spec Evo. speculative evolution.
Oh, speculative evolution.
Right, where they take artist renditions of things and say something like this and something like that. That this is
like all the museums do.
I have a headache. I'm not going down that road today.
Well, it's true. Have you ever seen Lucy?
And what shape they may take. To return to chimps right now, a few of the things that could be possibly viewed as blocking primates from becoming
MVTV.
people would want them to be
Fancy
instead
meeting you here.
is perhaps their society. Dominant individuals can readily sponge from subordinate hunters, and among males especially, active hunting can often be spread among rank, to say nothing of the fact it's often, but not always, very male-biased. So if there is an incredible hunter of note in the troop, there's no guarantee it may pass this trait down to its offspring. There's as much of a selective pressure on sponging or begging as there is for hunting for yourself. And the male
Dad, I don't want to hunt monkeys. I want to draw. I want to play the guitar.
Existing social
I want to
behaviors
eat
could provide a bit
berries
of
that
an
have
issue
gone
for
slightly
certain
past their
behaviors to be
shelf life.
developed, and then selected for to cause significant change. And it
As
may
soon
be
as you told me what Spec means, I can no longer take this guy seriously.
at the carnivory part long before the social
This is a
part.
Sasquatch stream. You
Chimps aren't the
probably
only
shouldn't have taken
primates
it
that
too
engage in
seriously
some
from the
predatory
beginning,
behavior,
bro.
though. Baboons often will, especially males, and most species are reasonable hunters of young ungulates and small animals.
That
But not
monkey's
much
got some
more,
big
as
titties.
baboons live in an environment with some of the stiffest carnivore competition there is, that no doubt has played a large role in shaping their ecology. But in the Spec Evo world where they've all been zucked to oblivion, what may become of baboons then? Well, it's possible they may get a lot larger. Baboons and gorillas have somewhat similar selective features when it comes to male dominance and sexual dimorphism. The males
Crocodilian babooners.
and have very large canine teeth. Gorillas got massive because they live in a comparatively predator-light environment, where they no longer have to sleep in trees, and being bigger is better to protect against the predators that are present.
And they can build houses and play the banjo.
The males. Baboon males have pretty similar demands.
My point is, you can teach a monkey to drive a nail. You cannot teach him to design a house.
No, you can't even teach him to drive the nail more than once.
You can't teach him to put it in the right place. He doesn't understand why.
You can't teach him that the hammer is to drive the nail.
Yeah, no, he'll use it on anything nearby too. I'm not sure I'd want to give a chimp a hammer, come to think of it.
I've always wondered why these people are still in business, because they just go round and round and round and round coming up with all this nonsense to dry on monkeys. And I'm like, they're monkeys. They don't give a shit. You can do it all you want. They're not gonna catch on. You could put a monkey in a box with all the stuff required to build a house and the plans and a book on tape telling them how to do it, and it'll never happen.
Never. Never ever.
But also have to sleep in trees or rock faces due to high densities of powerful nocturnal predators like lions, leopards, and spotted hyenas. So
And-
there's limiting selective pressure on their body size.
One more.
But if you remove
If you put enough monkeys in a room with typewriters, you will eventually have a lot of shit on typewriters.
I'm waiting for this to come up in StreamYard so I can show it to you. They can drive golf carts pretty good. There it is.
Yeah. And they can right turn, Clyde.
Uh-huh. They can also rip your arm off and beat you to death with it.
Yeah, and throw feces
Eat
at
your
you.
face. Tear your balls off and run away.
But not letters. Nope.
I suspect there might be a breeding troop of chimpanzees in Florida.
I had a teacher tell me with a straight face once that if you put a chimpanzee in a room with a typewriter and given enough time, you would eventually produce the works of Shakespeare. And I'm like, not even one letter at a time.
I think the quote is an infinite number of monkeys with an infinite number of typewriters
In an
and
infinite number of
infinite amount
rooms.
of time.
Yeah,
would
and it still ain't
eventually-
going to happen.
Yeah, I've always had a bit of an issue with it. There's a bit of free will there that I don't think you'd be able to overtake with randomness.
You couldn't do it by accident. There's no
That's
way
what
it's
I'm
going to
saying.
happen on purpose. What
move
happens in Vegas
suspicious,
stays in Vegas.
like gorillas, may well adapt to a more terrestrial lifestyle. And if we assume reasonably productive savannas can allow for it, presumably and possibly at the cost of smaller group sizes, then they may reach gorilla sizes. Whilst in pure real life, it may not be quite as simple as that.
What happens in Vegas
Real
stays
life.
in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but is treated by your local practitioner.
Mm-hmm. What's up,
After all,
MVTV?
mandrills live in similar habitats to gorillas, but don't reach their size. There is some reasonable ecological backing for giant baboons. Plus, mandrills do still differ from gorillas in group size, living in hordes of up to 100 and more, as well as diet. Maybe
Oh, that
there's
is
a glass
absolutely
ceiling
terrifying.
on size for generalist frugivores before you'd have to swap to being a more specialized folivore like a gorilla.
Have we
In
tried
a
barbecue
rainforest, at
baboon? It
least.
sounds like we
And
should.
after all, that could be more of a prompt for the hypothetical giant
Tangy.
future baboons to eat more meat. Their current diet may not be enough to support their large sizes, and there's a large bounty of meat in the form of the assorted ungulates that somehow survived whatever cataclysm took out the large carnivorans. There are larger baboons in the Earth's history too. A purely carnivorous primate may be hard. The majority of them still need some vitamin C in their diets, and their
Stop saying
plantigrade
vitamin.
limbs, or forelimbs at least, put some limits on open terrain predation. But they could still function as important predators. Bears
Aluminium.
are large plantigrade footage generalists. and in
Cocaine
some
bear.
areas, brown bears are
Cocaine
serious
bear.
predators, either of the calf crop of
Tarsus
the year or
jacked it
adult
up.
animals in more barren areas. And so, rather than canids or felids, the carnivore and a hypothetical giant future predatory baboon may most resemble is
Be
a bear.
Ursus on the
They may
bestest.
not be hypercarnivorous, but they can still fulfill an important
Cocaine bear.
predatory role, while
Yeah.
supplementing their diet with assorted fruits and forbs for important vitamins. Baboons may
Vitamins, you asshole.
to get there, smaller group sizes for one. And if we apply current baboon biology to the hypothetical ones, the males and females may spend more time apart. Males would
Yeah,
likely
because the one are hypothetical.
may preferentially follow it over foraging with a group. After all, they no longer need to stick together to avoid predators. If they have clearly marked breeding seasons, male baboons may even leave troops entirely for long periods at a time, only returning in the breeding season. The smaller females likely have more vegetable and fruit matter in their diet, and may make different foraging choices too. This isn't so different to lions, whose prides aren't anywhere near as cohesive as often portrayed,
Aluminium.
with males and
Aluminium.
females of the pride often spending a lot of time apart due to their different needs and foraging preferences. So these hypothetical future baboon societies may resemble those of some large cats, even if other aspects of them don't. We could even make the fanciful suggestion that this future Africa's predator guild ecologically resembles that of Holocene North America,
Schedule.
with baboons replacing bears, future jackals filling the niche of a cursorial predator to become a black-backed or side-striped wolf, and
Fish and
parrot
chips.
becoming a cougar-like
That's no
feeling.
good, dude.
Small predators would also be released from various competitive
too
pressures,
far.
and already take large prey semi-regularly, but often get it stolen in large predator-rich areas. But being half the size of baboons, the primates would have a head start on getting large to avoid them as predators. There are some primates that are already fully carnivorous, though, and these are the tarsiers, tiny
That is
Indonesian
true.
primates that are perhaps somewhat similar to bush babies, with limbs heavily adapted for
apes
leaping
are
and huge eyes.
carnivorous.
Yeah,
It's
they are.
hard
They
to
eat nothing but
rationalize
bugs and
tarsiers
centipedes
getting
and
very
shit like
large,
that.
though.
But they will
As
eat a
relatively
bird or
solitary
even like
primates, the
a
males
guinea
don't
pig or
engage in
something,
massive fights for females. And any active anti-predator behavior is limited to mobbing rather than out-and-out violence. So you can give
Military.
tarsiers everything they need and all the room in the world, and they probably wouldn't get a lot larger. They're pretty specialist primates, and are pretty good at being tarsiers just the way they are.
And they have really big eyes.
Unlike other primates,
they're
it may
night
be the most
stalkers.
straightforward route to making a top predator primate, and simple diet could well be the reason for tarsiers to enlarge in size. The bulk of most tarsiers' diet is mainly insects, but they
You
will
see the
readily
size
take
of 'em?
insects as well.
Could you imagine that thing eating a bird?
Killing birds larger than themselves. A bigger tarsier would be able to take bigger birds more effectively, and with some imagination could become closer in size to some monkeys as bird and bat specialist predators.
Well, hell, since we're dreaming, why not give them wings?
To effectively being tiny primate owls before. So it may not be too imaginative to have them become primate eagle owls.
Shoot it.
We would really be trying to create a circumstance where birds ultimately become a more reliable food source than the ever-abundant
It's
insects.
looking at me.
Bird prey base themselves would also be reliable.
Now imagine that thing's like 60 pounds.
Yeah, might as well. This guy's imagining all kinds of shit over there.
It's speculative. What do you want me to say, dude? Am I supposed to like show up with Polaroids of these things that don't exist? I can't do it, man.
I just want to hear him say something that makes sense.
Vitamins.
For tarsiers to specialize into hunting them over insects. As mainland tarsiers grow, they may also risk competition and indeed predation from civets and birds of prey. But this can also be dodged by potentially putting tarsiers on their own
I'm pretty
island.
sure a house cat's got
Island
that
hopping to
motherfucker's
colonize
number.
new regions has been suggested as a rare but possible method of
My neighbor was
tarsiers-
attacked by tarsiers, but he's never been the same. They work in packs. They're like gremlins.
Of birds and possibly island gigantism could put them in good stead to grow even larger. As
So it's
arboreal
steroids.
bigger game, like other primates potentially, should
My man,
geologically
need a pair of Nikes.
rejoin their island to the mainland. Obviously, we've taken
Start
a few
raving
shortcuts
batshit
here,
crazy.
but as obligate predators and very specialized animals, tarsiers probably do present themselves as the best bet for a Spec Evo murder monkey.
They present themselves.
Aside, Primeval's little carnivorous gremlin may be pretty on the money.
Told you they were like gremlins.
Than the future predators and more, at least.
They work in packs.
Thanks for watching.
Don't feed them after midnight.
And as ever, a huge thanks to the top.
It was a gargoyle, dude. It
That
was a
whale
straight-
is flying over that zebra.
Steiny phenomenon.
This is this, oh wow.
Venomonium. Venominon. Venominon. Is that like QAnon?
Vitamin.
Venominon. Look down to the third row, first word. Under Daniel Burris. Venominon. Venominon.
Venominon. Yeah, no, it looks like you
It's
got
like
it.
QAnon, but for snakes.
Okay.
They're Trump supporters. What?
All right. So
That's a square turtle.
yeah. No. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
Nothosaurus. Good name. Nothosaurus.
Nothosaurus. Right. It's not the one with the synonyms. It's the other one. Homonyms and all that. Okay. So
Maybe it's crocodilian. As far as I know, crocodiles are the only thing that's crocodilian in
no,
nature.
alligators, caiman.
Alligators are not crocodilian. They're alligatarian.
No, they're crocodilians. And,
No.
and Texas
An alligator is not a crocodile. Completely different animal.
did not say it was a crocodile, said it was a crocodilian. But
No.
so is fish-eating guar of India.
Maybe, but not an alligator. Alligator is more like a puppy by comparison.
All right, we're gonna have to wait a few minutes to be able to play this next video because my
Okay.
laptop is completely frozen.
Uh-oh.
So I'm gonna click some things over
Maybe it
here.
got stuck on vitamin.
I think it didn't like it.
Take your vitamins with your
All
fish
right.
and chips.
So- oh, it did it again. Come on, play.
Spec is fantasy writing, says the historical truth absolutist.
The armors,
Thank you, sir.
and placodons, or the beefy plesiosaurs.
All right.
They span
All right,
an
all right,
astounding
all right.
100.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. This is what
You can
ruined
be
it.
just a kindovist. You don't even have to be an absolutist. You can be sortivist. Not a saurus. Triassic seafarers.
Right. I mean, I had to check that one out. Why not? We're gonna get full bore.
Sauropsorigians are among the most diverse group of marine reptiles known, with a huge variety of ecologies and morphologies developing over the time they were around. Whether they be the armored, shellfish-eating placodons or the beefy plesiosaurs, they spanned an astounding 180 million years, from the lower Triassic through to the end of the Cretaceous. Early in their radiation, and the time where the most clades existed, were the Nothosaurs, marine reptiles that in many ways appear similar in appearance to living seals, which likely filled in a similar niche, though more so on a surface level, and are a very interesting group. After the catastrophic end-Permian extinction events, the well-known Great Dying, which killed upwards of 80% of marine life, it took a good 5 to 10 million years from then for life to fully recover, alongside the harsh conditions of the Triassic that followed, like several global warming events and large fluctuations of carbon and oxygen isotopes, although not everywhere was devastated in the same way or magnitude. Some sites from areas in Idaho and Nevada showed a relatively quick rebound in diversity from what's been known of, taking
that's
about
just a
3 million
fat
years
dolphin.
later, while an even bigger outlier is known from Italy, which has a very complex
But he's
ichnobiota
tasty.
that is known to have arisen less than 1 million years after the extinction event, which
Kind of.
suggests the impact of the extinction event
Called a
was
revisionist.
in some areas.
I'm not a revisionist.
feel
I
like
leave
many
that to Spec Evos and
Holo-
Holocaust deniers.
in the early through Middle
What the
Triassic,
hell is that?
with ichthyosaurs, thalassosaurs, hooposuchids, and brachypleurosaurs being among the most documented. Nothosaurs,
Plunkimentosaur?
ancient Greek, were among them, and from what's known
I'll
of their
take it.
fossil distribution, range widely across the abundant shallow epicontinental seas and basins around Pangaea, with fossils being found from North Africa, China, and Europe in what would be called the Tethys Sea.
Red
Animals were
flag.
synthesized too.
Fossils found in China are found at the plants that make fossils in China.
In animals like Nothosaurus giganteus and Zhangyi, which will be talked about later.
Out
The
of chicken
genus
bones.
Nothosaurus, the most well-known and studied of their family, were for a long time treated as a wastebasket taxon, and so many different animals were either added into the genus
That
or
thing
split
looks
into
tasty
numerous
too.
species that have since become invalid. And the genus as a whole seems to be paraphyletic, with many close relatives of
I
them
think it
being
might
more
be
closely
people
related
like
to some
me that
species than to
colonized the
others,
world.
making it harder to
And we
distinguish
look
the
vast
fish
across the
from
land like
the placement
it looks
of the related
delicious.
Brachiosaurus within the broader order
We're
of
going
Nothosaurus
over there.
has been uncertain, although it is considered
I
broadly
think
known
that lizard has feathers.
relationship going on between
Quick,
Brachiosaurus
call Hanna-Barbera.
Lariosaurus was among the smallest of Nothosaurs known, as discussed earlier,
Literally.
and quite unusual in that their fingers had more bones than their toes, which meant that they would have had paddled forelimbs and more typical hind limbs, making them good swimmers. Their larger relatives, like the many
I
species
got
of
humongous
Nothosaurus,
toes
were
and I
also
can't swim or for shit.
would also likely having webbed limbs to help in maneuvering and propelling themselves forward with their forelimbs, alongside steering with their hind limbs. Nothosaur skulls are especially interesting, with them being both very broad and flat, having large supratemporal fenestrae that would have anchored very large muscles, as well as making the skull lighter, with the eye sockets also being very far forwards, seemingly an adaptation for allowing large muscle and snapping power.
Dorkfish.
The jaws themselves are lined with
It's a
dozens of needle-like
dorkfish.
teeth.
I'm a dorkfish. What's a corn dog doing in the ocean?
Soft-bodied animals like fish and cephalopods, and very likely other, smaller marine reptiles as well. They also possess pronounced lateral nasal glands that were likely used as salt glands, with them likely coming up to the surface of the water while swimming, and then excreting excess salt out of them to continue drinking said water without
That's
having
just a
large
fish
bullets
with
on.
a cold.
When it comes to the largest of them,
You might not be
Nothosaurus
wrong
Zhangyi,
there, man. I'm
described
starting to
recently in
wonder about
2014,
this guy.
is currently known of to be the largest member of the genus.
Starting?
Having a
He
lower
has a
jaw
square turtle on the front page.
of 45 in width, which is the largest
I
known
like
of
that
any
turtle.
Triassic sauropterygian so far discovered.
I
think
want
it's
to know
cute.
what processes made that turtle square.
Very likely that these animals were anywhere from 5 to 7 meters in length, in spite of how fragmentary they otherwise are. Being the
That
largest
one's
predator in their
choking on a
environment,
fish.
they would have more than likely
You gotta
fed
admit,
on
it's
small
pretty.
to even medium-sized marine reptiles like
Got
ichthyosaurs
pretty
and
colors.
likely other nothosaurs. Their movement in the water and how they locomoted from the way of direct evidence, mainly trackway marks, are surprisingly rare,
That
considering
snail is somewhere it does
small
not
nothosaurs
belong.
on the seabeds when
Not
they're
Lloyd.
foraging and moving. The Guanling Formation in Yunnan Province, China, is known well for its stunning
All right, bud.
fossilized sea animals,
Good to have
and
you
on a
back.
survey of the area, several track marks were noted on
I
a
don't know
ledge,
why the
and
other
later
10
published
people
on in
aren't talking, but
2014,
okay.
with it being found that there were 350 exquisitely preserved prints that formed about 15 distinct trackways, some of which were looped around. In finding out the track maker, the obvious animals to look to are marine reptiles,
Oh,
since
sure.
in this case, the size
Obvious.
of the tracks pretty
I
clearly
think MVPV is mad at me. I've
the
spoken
influence
to
of
him
more
4
likely
times and he hadn't even said hello.
for two main reasons. The first being that there was no case found of a print of any
He's
identifiable hind limb
probably
or
at
foot
about
of
that point in the winter where folks start going a little stir crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, they're all masturbating to Spec Evo apparently.
the printing of
Spec Evo,
horns.
yeah.
And two, that Mesozoic
Well, when
marine
you can make
reptiles
up animals, you can just
were
have
more
a
than
very
dynamic-
sexy animal.
more dynamic ways for their locomotion. The marine reptiles from Looping and the slightly younger Panshin locality includes ichthyosaurs, pachypleurosaurs,
Claiborne,
plesiosaurs, and Nothosaurs, though several can
Hey,
be ruled out for
Claiborne,
different
welcome to the
reasons.
show, bud.
Pachypleurosaurs can, for being too small, being about 10 to 20 centimeters in total length.
That's what I was saying earlier, Claiborne. They make some of those fossils in China out of chicken bones and sell them to museums in America.
Reported prints. Of the remaining reptiles, ichthyosaurs power their swimming by lateral whole body.
That's definitely a dorkfish.
It's very unlikely that they would have used them for
That
any kind
looks
of
like
pushing
dinner.
locomotion. So, out of the animals left, it was made
Pretty
clear
sure I
that
can
they were
drag that
raised by
thing
some
on the
kind of
top line.
nothosaur, since they were theorized beforehand to mainly use their forelimbs when it came to propulsion. This therefore confirms that nothosaurs were using their forelimbs for not only propulsion, but for punting across the sea floor as well, doing so in unison rather than alternately. The animal in question was anywhere from about a metre to 3 metres in length, and from previous work done in the area, it's been determined that said seafloor at the time was covered by a rich
Come on,
microbial
yeah.
mat, which substantially
You're not
contributed
too
to the
bad.
preservation of the tracks, and to how they lasted so long. From this, it's envisioned that the animal that made them was foraging around this area, punting forwards at slow speeds, keeping the heads clear of the turbulence below, and allowing them to dart their slender necks from side to side as they search for prey. Reproduction-wise, it's been found from gravid specimens of the small pachypleurosaur, Chytrosaurus hui,
Pachypleurosaur.
from China that's they underwent viviparity, aka
Thought
live
that was a
birth,
disease.
something that would have been further assisted by
Sounds
the
like it.
specimen anatomy. The 4 embryos present in the specimen, which are mostly articulated, are preserved on 2 sides of the body,
Let's see if
which
this
shows that
kicks
these
me out.
animals had a pair of oviducts, as seen in ichthyosaurs and many extant lizards. Which
I
given
hear
the
voices too, MVTV. They just don't speak
Nothosaurs,
Spanish, and I have no idea what they're saying.
well documented in ichthyosaur embryos is that their babies are
Right.
usually positioned with their heads forwards, as is seen in
That's
modern
definitely a dorkfish. Look at the size of those Coke bottles.
represents an abnormal condition, which may well have led to the death of both the mother and the embryos. Most of the embryos in the 2 known gravid specimens of Chytrosaurus have
I
their
think
heads
that
forward,
fish has
and
feathers.
similarly, them and their mothers might have been
Quick,
killed
call
during birth
Hanna-Barbera.
of normal carriage.
Why do you keep saying
The loss of the solid
Hanna-Barbera?
connection
Because
between
I
the
can't
pelvic
remember the
area
guy's
and
name,
scrotum
but it
is not
sounds
only
like
Barnum
correlated
Bailey?
with an aquatic lifestyle, but also allows for more flexible realistic
the
movement. And with the absence
archaeologist.
of the sacroiliac joint, would have allowed their pelvic girdle to change its shape, maximizing the space of the birth control to allow the young to be born, and as in timely a manner as possible. Nothosaurs have often been thought of to have been semi-aquatic, being similar to seals in some regards, and this is often something depicted in art too, with animals overall indeed looking like they can most definitely haul themselves onto land for extended periods. Said claims, however, have been questioned, and many now highly doubt that Nothosaurs, especially the large ones, would have been able to
That's
effectively
because
move
you're
out of the
boring.
water. Regarding mobility, they have very stiff torsos,
You
something
need
down
more
to
action in
extremely
your
numerous
life, and
and
your
tiny
voices
packed
will wake
Australia,
up and talk
with
to
poor
you.
muscular support from their pectoral girdles, which have tiny scapula, would have made land hauling even more tiring and cumbersome.
That skull does not go with that skeleton.
Bones all being flattened, poorly ossified, and rounded,
I'm not sure that
which along with
skeleton
being very
goes
few in
anywhere.
number and loosely articulated, would have meant that the range of motion in their arms would have been very limited. Nothosaurs persisted a good amount of time, lasting from around 242 million years ago until about 208 million
I'm
years
not
ago
sick,
in the
but I'm
Raytheon
not
age,
well.
and had a good run, being among the best examples
I'm
of
not
ordinary
crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know right now you can't tell.
All in all,
Notice how all the weird ones are cartoons.
Something
thought
else.
I'd point that out.
If you would like to see more from this channel, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, I'll see you next time, whenever that may be.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our program, but I have a question for you, dude. I know you've been itching to do this, right? So what's wrong with that one?
That one?
Yeah.
It's fake. It has serious overbite. It has 2 eyes on the same side of its head, and it has 2 hind legs and 2 front flippers. And it's a salamander.
All right. How about this one?
That one's fat.
And this one?
That's a snake with legs.
All right, bud.
Come on,
Excellent.
man.
You want to tell everybody what it is you do for fun?
Yeah, I talk a lot.
Wrong button. Sorry.
Occasionally, I make points, and you can find those points on Untethered Live on YouTube. I do a Bible study on Sunday and Monday, not a preachy type, but a deep dive into the text type, and I think you'll enjoy it. So come hang out with me on Untethered Live on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Google, iTunes, all of them, everywhere. And tweet me. I'm on Twitter now. And Getter, that's the redneck Twitter. I'm Jake Johnson. See you there.
All right, bud. I appreciate it. I'm going to drop you backstage right quick and do this whole outro bit. And
Bye, everybody.
Ooh. All right, I appreciate y'all coming in and watching my silliness and madness. I'm not sure why anybody cares, but I appreciate that you do. I do these things generally Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, just for gets and shiggles. But this Saturday, specifically this Saturday at my usual showtime, I'm going to be doing 2 parts in The Boy Who Would Not Grow Up, or as you know it better, Peter Pan. And I've even got a good pirate voice that I'm using with an accent and everything there, lover. It's one of those things. Oh, bother. I just threw everything down. So I'm going backstage. I'm going to watch some movies and stuff, go get me something to eat and try to do that whole thing. I'm going to turn that off. I wonder which one of these we should go with. I got so many outros. I don't even know what to do with them anymore. Do I have any left? How about this one? All right. It's been real. It's been fun.
Sorry. Good news, though. We're going to have to move the party somewhere a little bit more private, but you're all invited. Lorenzo will give you the details. Yeah!
Hey, she was a cutie in a sundress. I told her I just had to confess. I got a crush on you, darling. Them long tan legs got me falling.